It's been 5 long years since 2008. Gosh, really though, how much has the world changed in those 5 years?
So much, man.
This would be the top 10 games of 2018 revisited. Good job, Nick.
That's right. It's been 5 years since we first did a list talking about the best games of the year from 2018. Now, of course, with any of these lists, I'm Mike, by the way, that's Nick. With all of these lists that you make, the end of the year lists, which we really enjoy doing, we haven't played everything from that year. No. It's impossible to, but over the last 5 years, we've really had an opportunity to try a lot of games that came out around that era. 2018, in my books, and 2016 are kind of all-time years where it's like, man, there are so many games like in the top 100 from 2018. But, you know, we hadn't gotten to them all yet. So we always like to, you know, we've been doing this now 2 years in a row where we look back 5 years into our past, our list that we made then, how much has our gaming taste changed? What games have held up and are still around or still relevant 5 years later, which is... You can't say that for every game, that's for sure.
Sure can't.
And this is our kind of refreshed list, 5 years in the making. So before we jump into the list, let's actually do a quick honorable mention because people are going to be mad. All right? It's Brass Birmingham. Now, the reason it's an honorable mention is that Nick has not played it since 2018.
It's true.
And when he played it in 2018, how'd you like it?
Hated it.
Hated it. I hated it back then, but I've since played it a bunch and really love it very much now. It's one of my all-time games. But Nick still hasn't, I have not convinced him to try it.
That's not true. I want to try it again.
No, you don't. You keep saying that, but it's also, every time I want to play it, you're like, not today. So I call BS on that. BS is in chat for Nick.
Boom. Fair.
I'm going to call him out on it. But until he plays it, we can't rank it. I'd put it like number 1 or 2 on the list, but it ain't on the list. It's an honorable mention this time.
Triple barf.
All right, number 10 is the game is called Phil Walker Harding, who is a designer, actually not a game. And the reason is because I guess the official game is Gingerbread House, but slash Gizmos. We like both games a lot. They're both by Phil Walker Harding.
All right, number 10 is going to be Underwater Cities. Now, the reason why this is number 10 not higher is because I haven't played it for a very long time.
Yes.
And I didn't like it as much as Mike, although I've been really, really wanting to try it again lately. And we also just got the expansion. So Underwater Cities will probably be higher on the list once we play it again. But nonetheless, Underwater Cities is cool. It's kind of got some Terraforming Mars vibes.
Yeah, you're playing cards and stuff to gain production. And, as you build out your little buildings, your desalinization plants, and
but
things like that.
It's got a really
production built up.
Interesting mix between the card play and the strength of the cards and the strength of the actions that you play them on.
Yeah, because there's 3 colors. There's kind of 3 zones of actions and 3 colors of cards. Now, you don't have to play a matching color card, but if you play a matching color card to the action you took, so green and green, you get to make use of both of those actions. Now, the green actions on the board are pretty weak, but they have very powerful cards.
Yeah.
There's orange, which is kind of in the middle, then red, which has extremely powerful actions, pretty weak cards. So it's just a fun kind of balance point of that.
Yes.
And trying to play cards that match what you're trying to do action-wise, and then also synergizing the actions themselves of those two, the action and the card. And you're building up underwater cities, literally. So you're building out these dome cities and tunnel networks between them so we can all live under the water because we're just too populated and stuff like that.
Populated, indeed. Yeah, so it's a really cool game. I need to try it again here soon, but it's a good one. So Underwater Cities number 10. Let's go to number 9.
So number 9 was a game that like I was definitely sold on art-wise, just like the look of the player board and stuff like that. And then when I first played, I was like, all right. But each time we played, it's gotten more and more interesting as you start to unravel maybe strategy, and that game is Archmage by Starling Games.
Our number 9 is going to be a game. This is on our list last time.
It's a holdover.
This is a holdover. This is Keyflow.
We out here.
Keyflow, again, is one of kind of our evangelism games that we talk about a lot.
Beating that drum, Nick. That's what we're doing.
Oh, beating that drum. Yeah, I was like, for Keyflow? Keyflow is in the Key universe. Keyflower, Keyflow, Keythedral, Key Bump, Key something, whatever. Key Bump. But so Keyflow is kind of a card drafting version of Keyflower.
Indeed. Stripped down
a little bit. You're doing a lot of the same stuff where you're kind of building out your little kingdom. You're getting goods. You're trying to get those goods to very specific places so you could score them and stuff.
Yep.
But now you're doing it through card drafting, and then you're also drafting these Keeple cards, which have little Keeple, which is meeples.
Yep.
And that's how you activate stuff. But like Keyflower, you can activate stuff in other people's kingdoms. But unlike Keyflower, it's not mean when you do so.
Yeah, it's not blocking someone else from doing their thing.
Yeah, I can just use Mike's stuff because the cards you have sometimes will have arrows pointing to either way, and you can use your neighbor's stuff, which is very, very cool. And then again, you're activating the stuff, you're getting like gold, coal, wood, stuff like that, and then you're trying to get it to certain spots to either update buildings, build buildings, or put them down there for points. It's very, very fun. I really, really like Keyflow a lot.
Yeah, we really love the kind of flow of the 4 seasons. And the first 2 seasons are building up production buildings.
Yes.
The last 2 seasons are going to be devoted to
much more
using your buildings to produce and then gaining resources and places all purely for end game scoring, like you said. There's a lot of stuff you're trying to collect. There's animals you can collect on the cards that are just kind of shown up, and you might get a scoring card in winter that gives you points for pigs. So there's just a lot. It's the ultimate kind of like min-maxing, trying to get stuff built out so that these scoring cards can just, you can eke out as much as possible.
Many ways to score. There's so many different ways to score.
There's scoring things for everything, for keeples you've used, for types of buildings, resources on certain buildings.
It's nuts.
Ships will give you stuff. There's a bunch of things with it. It's really fun. It's really quick and snappy, but gives you a lot to crunch on. So this is one that we keep talking about. We think it's severely underrated. We still really love it. And that's Keyflow at number 9.
All right.
So number 8 is I was gonna say a new one to the list, but they're literally all new. But this one we got not too long ago, and this is a successor to another game called Keyflower, and this game is called Keyflow because key has to be in every one of those games.
Number 8 is another holdover, and this is Quacks of Quedlinburg. This one is definitely, we've cooled on this one a decent amount.
We've just played it so much.
We played it a lot. I played it
all.
not too long ago, and I was like, oh, that's right. This game is great. But like, it is definitely cool to a bit on it. This is a push your luck game where you're throwing all these ingredients into a big old cauldron. And you're witches, and you are stirring it up, hoping to not explode. It's a great game. I still love it, still have it.
Of course.
But just we've just cooled on it a little bit. We still really enjoy it. It's obviously still in this top 10. But it's good. We have the Herb Witches expansion, which adds some more abilities and stuff.
It's a very nice expansion.
Just really, really solid game. Great push your luck game. Great game to introduce people to. People when they're newer board games, stuff, even seasonally, they love this game.
Well, this is a pure push your luck. It's just like there's not a ton of thought that's going into it.
It's just silly fun.
With what chips you buy and stuff will change what you might draw. But I mean, it's. I think the fact that it's a pure push your luck is what really makes it sing. Is like sometimes it goes good, sometimes it goes really bad.
Yeah.
And that's just fun to play around with.
Yeah, it just is. It's just really, really good. Still love it to death. It's still a good, and it'll probably stay in our collection for a very long time.
All right, so our number 7 is a game by Renegade Games, who's just a darn fine game company.
They do just fine.
They do okay for themselves, and this is the kind of new game in the Raiders of the whatever world.
That universe? Yeah,
that
Raiders
universe.
of the universe. Yeah.
This one is Architects of the West Kingdom.
Number 7 is a game that we honestly hadn't played in 2018 and took a long time after. This is Camel Up's 2nd edition.
Yes.
Which definitely I would prefer. Now, we've played both editions. I would prefer it over the 1st edition every time.
Yes.
Mostly because it's a pop-up board. It has palm trees and things, which is fun. And a cool plastic now pyramid die distribution system.
Doesn't get destroyed as easily.
Doesn't get destroyed as easily. This is a racing game. This is a game where you are racing camels and making wagers, putting bets down on which camel you think is going to come in first place, second place, stuff like that. You're betting on individual legs, so you can kind of like, well, right now it's looking really good for green, and then you can also make overall bets on who you think is going to win the race. Period. What's really fun is that there are these crazy camels that go backward around the track, and they have the ability to pick up and carry camels with them backward. So that's hilarious. It's just kind of crazy because you can take dice, you drop a die out of the pyramid, and one thing that's cool is like you don't know what die is going to drop out. You don't know what camel's going to move. You don't know what's going to roll, so you don't know anything, how fast they're going to move. And it's just silly making wagers. You can do a couple things to mitigate the race, but really it's mostly just seeing how it plays out and putting down those wagers. The cool thing about this one is with the crazy camels, each leg I think it ends when you play 5 dice. So not every die is going to move, so you're not sure which camels may or may not activate. So there's a little bit of speculation there.
And again, they can stack, so they can also carry each other around.
It's hilarious.
It's so much fun. It's been around for a while for a reason. It got a 2nd edition for a reason. There's a card game now version, which is also very good. It's great. It's one of those games where I would like to pick up the 2nd edition at some point. We just haven't had a chance to grab it yet, but I really, really like Camel Up's 2nd edition. It's just good. Camel Up's a classic for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. So fun.
I know this is also kind of number 6 is kind of a umbrella one. We're gonna say welcome to / Railroad Inc. But really, what it is this is the year where we discovered roll and rides.
Yeah. Number 6 is going to be Architects of the West Kingdom, the first of the West Kingdom games.
Right, it was way back when, man.
It's still a banger. It's still good.
Still great.
Still love Architects of the West Kingdom. This is kind of a worker investment game rather than a worker replacement game, where you'll place a worker down onto a spot, you'll do that action. Could be like gathering wood, getting cards, things like that. But then you can put more workers there on subsequent turns, and the more workers you have in a spot, the more powerful that spot's going to be. Yeah. Which is nice, but then eventually people can come and round up your people and send them to jail for money.
Like you do.
And so it's one of those things where it's like that constant, like, oh, do I put another person here? Are they going to get taken? And that it's really, really fun. And you're trying to like work on the cathedral. You're trying to get different like people to work with you. You're building buildings, kind of typical Garfield game stuff now.
Yeah, you're ultimately trying to like just build stuff. It's about building, but there's 2 expansions for this game. One gives you like world wonders. One gives you these artisans to use where you can tuck and kind of mitigate the townsfolk you get and the buildings themselves. There's just a lot of fun things over the years that they've done to support this game. And there's so much to explore. So Architects of the West Kingdom has held up quite well for us.
Yeah, still has.
And we still enjoy it to this day. That's number 6.
So, number 5 is a game that we have helped run a lot, demo a lot, I've played a lot, and it is Fireball Island, man.
Fireball Ireland.
Number 5 is one of our biggest evangelism games, beating that drum just like Keithlo, and this is Castell. Castell was our... it was on the list last time, and we still love Castell. Castell is so good. We don't play it quite as much anymore, but we still just absolutely adore it. This is a game where you are Castellers, who are the people who make those big old human pyramids in Spain and in the Catalonia region of Spain. And you are going around recruiting new Castellers, going around doing performances and putting on showcases, and you're actually taking tiles that are Castellers, and you are building them up. And like the 10s, which are on the bottom, are those big burly dudes who are just like, come on, hold tight. And you can put like 9s on top of them, then 8, 7, all the way up to 1, which are like little children, with like helmets on and stuff like that. And it's just cool. And it's a great game because there's all these really tough restrictions in the game, but then you also can train to different stuff and then start breaking all of those rules, which is just a really fun and satisfying thing to do in a board game,
Absolutely. Castell remains a fun puzzle to put together.
Yeah.
The ability to break the rules is just like very satisfying every time. And how do you break the rules? What are your needs based on what performances there are, what Castellers are valuable to this game, because everything's open information. You know where you're going, what you need to perform from the very outset of the game. And making all those decisions, what do you invest in, what do you not, is just really fun.
Yeah, it's just good. It's a banger. Still love it. Still evangelizing for it.
Still good.
Number 5, let's get number 4.
Speaking of fun, you know what's hilarious? What? Unlicensed doctors. Or quacks, as they are known.
Yes,
people who just are fake news in it, just throwing stuff into a pot. Like, we could all be a doctor if I'm like, I put turmeric in this, and then I put a rat that I found in the basement. Like, you're not a wizard, dude. You're just a psychopath, all right?
That's true.
So, Quacks of Quedlinburg is our number 4.
Shouts out to Crook, our good friend Crookie Brookie. He on my birthday a lot of times will just give me some random Euro game I've never heard about that he's heard about. And this one, he got me Crown of Amara. Crown of Amara is a very thematic, just dripping with theme.
Bone dry, this one, but it's
very
all right.
dry.
It's just like Europe, And
Europe,
you're like,
efficiency.
But not today, in the past. You're like, that's cool. It is a game where you're kind of nobles in who knows where.
Who knows?
And you are...
you're in Amara.
Yeah, you're in Amara, and you have these 2 boards, and one's kind of like the rural area where you're going to be collecting resources, and then the other one depicts a city with kind of 4 quadrants, and you are going to be spending those resources to build up buildings, increase your citizenry, and things like that. So having those kind of 2 things to mitigate, and the movement, the spatial aspect, is actually kind of tricky.
Yes.
And you're going to play cards. It's a quick game ultimately.
Yes.
But the cards you play down will give you maybe a resource or maybe another action and stuff. And where you slot it on your board will dictate how far your little noble person moves, 1, 2, or 3. And again, you're choosing one of them to move, either the city side or the rural side.
Yeah.
So there's just some great puzzliness.
Super tight.
There's no theme. It's just mechanics all working together, but it works together. And it's, very, again, resource-wise, very tight.
Rough.
Yeah, it's you gotta be selective about what you're trying to get done, and don't waste any time doing it.
It's It's tough. It's really fun, but man, it's tight. It's rough.
Yeah.
But very, very good. Crown of Mars, number 4. Let's get number 3.
Number 3, this was the year to a degree of like the fanciful, cute woodland creatures.
That was definitely
Critters,
one
I
of the
say.
themes
This
this
is a
year.
game about critters.
Critters and
specifically.
dinosaurs this year, I feel
Critters
like.
and dinos, man. And the next year there'll be one where the critters ride dinos as pets, and it'll be fantastic. But this game is a tableau builder where you're building out a little town and populating it with various critters. It is Everdell.
Number 3 by Sir John D. Clare.
Sir John D. Clare approacheth. Everyone applaud. Yes, Sir John D. Clare made Space Base, which was our introduction.
Bass.
I imagine everyone else's introduction to John D. Clare.
For the most part, yeah.
This is and was and still is a fantastic game where you are building out kind of a fleet of ships in these different 12 sectors, which you then on a turn are rolling dice, and you can make use of those dice by either combining them to make one value of the combined, or use both die individually to activate the sectors they pertain to. So a 1 and a 6, you could either do the 7 or the 1 and the 6 on your turn. But what's really cool is as you buy more cards, that's really what it's about, buying more cards, you're going to deploy the old card, and you're going to flip them upside down and tuck them behind your board. And then those become things that will activate on other people's turns. If they roll a 2 and a 5 and you have stuff that's been deployed on the 2 and a 5, you get that money or that income or those points. And so it's about building up this quick little engine for yourself where you're hoping to be able to get to do something on your turn as well as on everyone else's turn while they're rolling dice in between your turn.
Yeah,
so you're always engaged with this one, which has always been the coolest part.
Yeah, there's absolutely no downtime because every single roll, as long as you have one thing deployed, which you will start with one thing deployed, you're always interested in what gets rolled because you might get to activate it.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun. It's so good. It's been around for a while. It's got a ton of support, tons of expansions, a little legacy version, like a whole bunch of stuff.
New expansion that just crowdfunded recently.
Yeah, just recently. So it's like, they're still supporting it. Love Space Base, still do. It's an absolute banger. It's number 3. Let's get number 2.
Space Bass! Yeah, Space Bass. Just not even do that. Space Base is number 2. Space Bass, or as we call it.
Number 2 is about my monoclub.
Team things.
Crumpets. This is Obsession. If you haven't
Horse
figured it out.
racing, dressage.
This is Obsession, which is weird because it feels like Obsession is like a new game, and it is not a new game.
No, it's
I feel like it gained steam like 2 years ago randomly.
Yes. I think the new edition, the expansion materials that came with it, the new crowdfunding campaign, like really brought this game into people's attention.
There's a new expansion coming out soon.
Ooh, baby, Mario, let's go! I'm into it. Yeah, this is a game that like.
British high society stuff.
Yeah, British high society stuff. You're kind of a family that like was once high and mighty, and you're sort of like not in the conversation right now. And you're trying to get back into it by hosting events. Yeah, you're hosting events on the grounds. You're trying to increase your reputation, trying to increase your money by having fancy friends over to participate in events. Yes?
I thought you said you're hosting events on the ground. I was like, as opposed to in the air?
They had not invented flight at this point, so
here's the thing.
They were all on the ground.
It's steampunk themed, and you're on weird airships.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
You know, it'd be great. Sorry, continue. Just maybe
on
laugh.
the grounds. And yeah, so each turn you're basically choosing a tile to activate, but it's going to dictate what kind of staff you need to put onto that event, because there's people that got to run these events, and what kind of guests and how many you must add, which are the cards you play. And a lot of times those guests require service themselves, because these are highfalutin people that can't do anything on their own.
I need a maid with me. I can't drink this wine.
I have no footman.
Where's my butler?
What am I to do without my valet?
Ridiculous people.
They are ridiculous people. It's fun to lean into that and go a little bit Downton Abbey yourself, a little bit, Bridgerton, Pride and Prejudice, and live that life for a hot second. Yeah. So we came to this one obviously much later than 2018, as I feel like most people did, but it actually first came out quite a while ago.
Yeah.
So now we're into it. We're obsessed with Obsession.
Yeah, it's super good, and it really feels unlike any other game. It's just a very, very unique game, cool theme. It's a good one. Obsession's number 2 is a banger.
So this was fun because the way Nick and I like to do these lists is we like to first make up our own little version of the list and kind of compare what's high, what's low, and then we can then work out the final order of our top 10s. And as we're going through, I was like, I wonder if we're gonna have the same number 1. It's gonna be close. Then we get all the way down to number 2, and I'm like, oh, we have for sure the same number 1. Nick's like, I'm not sure. I was like, dude, let's do it at the same time. We're gonna do it. All right, we're gonna go 3, 2, 1. So we go 3, 2, 1. Castell was our number 1 for both of us. So
number 1 is your former number 1.
Former number 1, still way up there. This is Teotihuacan.
Yeah, which I guess we hadn't played this year. I suppose
we played it maybe right at the end of the year, or maybe early in 2019.
Yeah, must have.
We played it at a convention, and yeah, so we just missed this one. At the time, I don't even know if it would have made the list because at the time it was
a bit much,
very heavy. It was right at the edge of our kind of ability.
We were stupid back then,
as was like a Brass Birmingham, and stuff. And now we've kind of matured, and I got into it kind of starting the next year. But Teotihuacan has been one that we've really enjoyed. All the expansions that come out, we've enjoyed. They have these great kind of modular expansions, so you can take the pieces that you like and leave the rest.
Yeah.
We recently covered this year the Teotihuacan Deluxe Master Set that's going to be coming. Cool. So it's been a freaking good one, but we didn't catch it right in 2018.
No, and that's how, like we talked about in the beginning, that just happens. Like, you just, especially because a lot of games come out in
every year.
Essen Spiel, which is in Germany, but it's in October. And so a lot of times those games do not get to the States until the next year. So we miss a lot. But Teotihuacan is just like one of those games that's like, it's a classic. When you get down to, when you learn the game, especially when you're playing the base game, it's not that complicated, but it's just like the way you can manipulate stuff and the way you can do stuff. So much strategy. It's so cool, but it's just a banger. It's so good. It got a Deluxe Master Set for a reason,
Yeah.
And it's just an absolute, it's just a good game. It's just
a
good game.
Solid one. Yeah.
It's a good
So
game.
I'm really excited to see the Deluxe Master Set get kind of completed and see what it all looks like. We really enjoyed all the stuff that was in that. But that's our list, everybody.
Hey.
Those are 10 games. There's obviously many more that we didn't mention. The ones that were on our original list that you kind of saw coming and going, we still enjoy all of those. Just fine. And but it's so fun to look back 5 years later and just to see some of the ways that our tastes have changed. Like, obviously we've skewed heavier over the years, but we're not afraid to enjoy a lighter game. Camel Up is still amazingly fun and stuff like that. So that is our 10 from 2018. I want you now to look back in the past. Look at 2018. You can do advanced searches on Board Game Geek to just see 2018 games, which was an all-time great year.
It was a really good year.
What are your favorite ones? And also, let's get Nick to play Brass Birmingham, eh? Maybe leave a super comment. Make Nick pay. If you put down money, he'll have to play it. There you go.
Here's the thing. That's fair.
It's called bribery, folks. It works, okay? Bribery only in good. And speaking of that, if you want to bribe us more, we have a Patreon you can support. You've seen our patrons going on down here. Are they bribers?
I don't know. Maybe.
Supporters.
No. Yeah.
There's a fine line. We'll muddy the water there some more, but we do have a Patreon. We appreciate it. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up. And if you are new to us, we are the Brothers Murph. I am Mike.
I'm Nick.
That's Nick. And please consider subscribing. Until next time, we'll catch you all next time. We had good intros and good outros.
Thank you so much for watching that top 10. It's always good to do these retrospectives, looking back, seeing if games held up, that kind of stuff. Let us know what your favorite game of 2018 was. We want to give a big shout out to our channel sponsors, Restoration Games, Lucky Duck Games, and Board Game Geek. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.